All right, I'm back. So yeah, so December 6th, I'm back. So this is going to be kind of a special video. And the reason I say special video is my grandfather in Carluke, Ontario, has been following my ride with the help of his caregiver, Marcy, which has been kind of amazing and yeah, really interesting at the same time that my grandfather's been able to follow my ride so far. And anyways, Marcy reached out to me and asked for me to do a special message, and I thought, well, I'll turn it into a video because he had a fairly relevant question given what I'm doing, and he was asking about how on earth I am surviving the cold. So this is the thing, and it's a very interesting question given my circumstances and given what I'm doing right now. And I guess maybe let me kind of explain. So the few of you that may watch this that know me actually know that I do not like the cold at all. I am not interested in winter sports. You couldn't pay me to go skiing. You couldn't pay me to go ice skating. I have no interest whatsoever. If I never saw cold weather in my lifetime, that would be awesome. Which, given what I just said, given what I'm doing right now, that is a pretty huge contradiction. For someone who hates the cold, yeah, I'm biking across Canada. So yeah, and it's December. So how do I explain how? Okay, so first of all, the cold isn't so bad as much as the rain and being wet. Because when you are wet, it is, unless you're indoors, it's virtually impossible to dry out. And if it then gets cold and you're already wet, well, then you're in trouble. I have got myself pretty wet many times so far crossing Newfoundland. I got very, very, very lucky that every time I got myself in wet conditions, there was a place or people that allowed me to dry myself out and get nice and dry. That may not always happen, but so far I've been very lucky. Now that being said, moving forward, hopefully the colder temperatures keep the rain away that much more. So hopefully, I don't run into too many more problems with getting wet. Now, mind you, if I do, then it'll probably be kind of a big issue. As far as the cold goes, so I feel like I've been pretty lucky. Like basically the temperatures so far have been basically just above freezing to, I'm going to say, -5. I don't know if it's gotten any colder than -5, even with the wind chill. Like there have been times that I've been cold. But the reality is, and I don't know how it is for other people, because I had no idea what to expect. Like I said, I hate the cold. When people told me what I was doing was crazy and impossible, I kind of did that whole la 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 la, I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear kind of attitude, because I knew if I thought about it, I would never have, I wouldn't be out here. I just kind of maintained, I didn't want to think about it, and so I didn't think about it. And, then all of a sudden one day I'm handing in my truck keys for my last day at work, and then one day I'm in Atlantic, Canada, and then one day we're loading my bike and gear and heading to Sydney, Nova Scotia to catch the ferry to Newfoundland, and then, then I'm in Newfoundland, and then I'm on the bus to St. John's, and then I'm in St. John's. And it's like, oh wow, like I guess I'm doing this kind of deal. I didn't give it a tremendous amount of thought, because I knew the more I thought about it, the more, I would, it might not happen. So I just kind of hoped for the best. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it. Anyways, what I have discovered, basically in a given day, I mean, other than maybe stopping for lunch or supper, I guess it's safe to say, you know, not including when I'm at someone's place, you know, for the night or whatever, I'm outside 20 hours of the 24. I have no expectation of getting somewhere, you know, what we'll call warm indoors. And it's almost like my body has adapted or is adapting. And so the cold is not bothering me nearly as much as I would ever have thought. Now, I am dressed for it, and I did do a video on my clothing and whatnot. I didn't get a chance to upload it just because the internet connection was too slow to upload to YouTube. But there is a part 1 and part 2 video coming when it goes on about that. Yeah, I talk about my clothing and my base layers. And my base layers are doing an exceptionally good job of pulling the sweat from my body, because that's the other thing. It may be cold outside, and I may be in the middle of it, but many parts of my day, I'm actually sweating. I'm sweating for many parts. Now, when I say sweating, if that moisture doesn't get pulled from you, as many people realize, that's where hypothermia kicks in, and that's how you get really cold. But my specialty clothing, or my base layers, however you want to explain it, they are pulling that moisture away from my body very quickly. So while I'm feeling the sweat's also being pulled just about as quickly. And so that's what's helping me keep dry on the inside of my clothing. So I don't know, the only way I can explain it is that because it's like my body knows. It's like there's no warm place to go, so you just deal with it. Like if you're indoors and you got to go outside for an hour, like, or even biking, like if I was indoors and someone said, "You want to go biking for an hour or two?" It'd be heck no. I don't want to go out in that cold. Not a chance. Not a chance. But the reality is I'm out here, and there's no one to make it warm for me. There's no one that's going to, you know, save me or do the pedaling for me. So it's like my body knows. It's like you better get used to it and you better deal with it, because this is your reality. And you know, and I noticed that this afternoon. I'm pedaling away, and I'm loving it. You know, when it's really cold, I look around. Like, I mean, you can hear the traffic. I mean, there's a fair amount of traffic on the Trans-Canada, but at the same time, it's like I'm all here. I'm just all by myself. There's nobody else out here. So it's just, I just look around and I just go, wow, what a beautiful day. I just thank you, God. What a beautiful day. This is just an amazing day. And not to have like a false positive attitude, but I just look around. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, I'm in the middle of Nova Scotia, camped out. I'm 5 feet from some lake. I'm here in a tent. I mean, it may not sound like paradise, but it's like I'm in paradise. So I don't know. I mean, the next stage of cold weather is like -5 to -10. I'm hoping that I just sort of adapt to this slightly cold, because I mean, you know, there's freezing to -5, and then there's -5 to -10. I'm hoping that, you know, by the time -10 reaches, I'm kind of adapted to it and whatnot. But I honestly have no idea. I just, you know, in one sense, I got on my bike in St. John's and I just started pedaling. And here I am in Nova Scotia. I don't know how I deal with this cold weather. It's just not like, I mean, I'm in my tent. because this is the second video tonight. I've been rambling for probably 20-30 minutes. I'm not in my sleeping bag. I mean, I am feeling the cooler weather, the cooler temperatures, but you know, in a few minutes I'm going to get my sleeping bag, and you know, I mean, that's probably the hardest part, is the morning, or the mornings, because by then you're you know, everything is pretty cold, and you know, there's that psychological barrier of, yeah, I got to get out of the sleeping bag because, oh, looks like my headlamp's about to. But anyways, you get that psychological barrier of I got to get out of a warm sleeping bag into the cold air kind of deal. Anyways, my headlamp just sort of flashed, which means probably getting a little bit low on these batteries, and I still have to change into my sleeping clothes and this and that. So anyways, this is just the purpose of this second video is just for my grandfather. Hey Gramps, appreciate that you're watching and you're following. I think that's awesome that Marcy can help make that all happen, and thanks Marcy for following the journey so far and making it possible for him to watch and to see and whatnot. I think that's actually kind of cool that that my grandfather's watching what I'm doing here. So oh, and yeah, Grandpa I was at the Pikes. Remember John Pike? John Pike is he's friends of the family, and he actually worked for my grandfather for quite a few years. And then he moved out here to Nova Scotia, and staying with them was just absolutely awesome. But anyways, I think I kind of rambled on about the cold weather and how I'm surviving, and I think as you can sort of see from the video and just the tone of my voice that it's not as hard as you would think, in all honesty. But I don't really know how to explain it other than that. If I was living at home day in, day out, and I had to go outside for an hour or two, it'd be like, heck no, I'll wait till June or May or June when it's warm. But when you got nowhere to go but pedal westbound, your body just adapts. It's not nearly as hard. But anyways, oh yeah, no, and I see Matthew's on. Yeah, so Matthew, I see that you're on. So I'm just 22 kilometers west of Braddock. I'm just mentioning that because Matthew's got a bike shop probably about 140 kilometers west that I plan to stop by. What's the town? I think it's pronounced Anatid. Oh, I can't. You know what? Oh, Matthew, how do you pronounce that town you live in? Anakadish? No, I know I just screwed that up. Oh, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna apologize in advance when it comes to pronouncing cities and towns. I'm gonna be so tongue-tied and whatnot. You ask any of my co-workers, truck drivers, going through all the different cities that we used to, I'd screw them all up, left, right, and center. But anyways, I'm on my way to Matthew's bike shop. Should be there hopefully Monday afternoon, Monday evening. He's going to set me up with some proper winter cycling boots. So anyways, and yep, thanks Patrick. Do my best to stay safe, and I see Patrick's been watching both my videos that I just did. So anyways, yeah, I've been rambling for a long time, so I'll probably cut it off here and do another live video in a couple days or whatever. Maybe actually, you know what? Well, I think for sure Matthew's bike shop or whatever. But we'll see if there's one happens before then. But other than that, thanks a lot. Later. Good night. Bye.